All right. Oh boy, let's see if that works. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see if it works on YouTube and so on, because I had problems with the scheduling today. So is it actually working? Am I live? It says upcoming here everywhere. Okay. Okay. Seems like I'm live on LinkedIn as well. Am I live on LinkedIn? Hey, LinkedIn. How's it going? Yes. All right. I see people coming in on LinkedIn. All right. Hi, everybody. So today we're going to talk about tools for data engineers. You know, there's always a bigger tool, like I used in the thumbnail. There's always something new. There's always something hyped, and like, oh, it's always interesting to talk about tools and what's hip now. Hey, hello, Rajesh. Hi, Mohammed. Hello, and Val from LinkedIn. Hi, Val. Oh, nice cockpit image here. Yeah, so sorry for the blabbering here. I had problems with the scheduling, so I hope everything works out. So last time we lost LinkedIn halfway through it, so I hope is everything right? Let me quickly know before we begin, is the audio and video good? Because last time I saw that the video was quite low. The audio was quite low, so I had to bump the audio a bit. I hope it's okay. Is everything good? I hope you had a great day, great start of the week. Hello. Yes, it's visible. We can see and hear you well. All right. Thanks, Val. Thanks, everybody. Hey, John. How's it going? Anush. Hi. So, again, let's talk about something. If you're on LinkedIn, I posted about this some time ago. I just want to put this here as well on YouTube, and I want to show you how to get it. So I made a matrix of tools that are hip or that are very popular right now for engineering. Now, for me, it was difficult when I did this. How do I actually structure this? The structure is not perfect, and there's a lot of discussions around it, but I want to show you this and give you a bit of an overview of this. So first of all, how you can find this. The first version of this I put on my website. If you go to learndataengineering.com and you scroll down, I have here your free quick start guide. I'm going to rename this into skills and tools every data engineer needs or something. So download this, you get the first version, and if you with this you also get on the mailing list. So tomorrow I'm going to mail you the new version that I'm going to show you now. So what's the new version? So as you can see, I did a few one here. This is the newest one. How have I structured this? So I structured this like this. I just need a second here. Come on. To see your comments a bit better, I need to do it like this. Like this. All right. So how I structured this is on the top, I have here cloud native and cloud agnostic, right? So these here, I'm sorry that unfortunately the thing is so small here. Can I make this a bit bigger? Let me see. Come on. Yes. Oh no, you can't see it. Shit. Okay, so sorry, I'm struggling here. So again, I started here the tools guide with cloud native and cloud agnostic. Cloud native meaning everything that is directly on the cloud platforms like AWS here, like Azure, like GCP, that belongs to one of these three cloud platforms. I limited this to these three because I felt like these are the these are the main ones, right? The others, yeah, there's something from IBM and from other things, but let's focus on the top three. And then I have something that I call cloud agnostic, either open source or vendor tools that come from a vendor, closed source. Maybe these are also open source, but like that's how I structure this. Does this make sense to you? I hope this makes sense to you so far. So then I went and I looked at how do I structure now the tools into categories. And how I always do this is I have a blueprint for my for platforms, and this blueprint, let me quickly get it up here. So the blueprint. I have it here. It's not the newest version, but that'll do. So the blueprint, how this works is you have a few phases. On the left, you have connect. This is where you get the data in. Then buffer, where you find message queues. Processing for processing frameworks. Storage with stores. And this is called big data. I have one that says here NoSQL. And here data warehouses. And on the right, visualization. So connect, buffer, processing, store, visualize. And I did exact same thing for here. Connect, buffer, process, store, and visualize. And I had a bonus category here. So that's how I structured this. It does, but I think you could group the 3 cloud-based with the last column and make them all vendors. Yeah. No, the idea for this, why I did this, was I wanted to have this, also this cloud native, to make it a bit, now that you talk about it, I'm not, let's just stick with it. So it's not super simple, I know. So this is why I put AWS GCP open source vendor here. Connect, I was thinking, okay, how do you get the data in? First, you get the data in through APIs. How are you going to host APIs? And then with data ingestion tools, where you have data somewhere laying around and you want to access it and you bring it in with a data ingestion tool or integration tool. Integration. Now there are, of course, a lot of tools out there that you could use. So for APIs, when you look at the clouds, API gateway, API management, API gateway for Azure, AWS, Azure, and GCP. These are already almost named exactly the same, and they almost work exactly the same. Then you have the open source stuff, where like Fast API, where you can easily build APIs with Python. Flask, I think there shouldn't be Django in here as well. I think Django should be in here as well. And GraphQL. There are actually, I didn't find any good vendors for this. So vendors, I don't know. For APIs, it's very strange. I don't know if you know a vendor who actually does this. Usually this stuff is open source because you want to get people to use it a lot, and it's very important for people, and there are so many open source stuff around. Then I was thinking about data integration. So how do you get the data in? Now, this means some type of tool that actually can access external locations and bring the data in, and basically, also transform it already, but integrate that data from tables, from file stores, and so on, from databases. So on AWS, what you can do is you use AWS Glue or step functions, which are basically just Python code, just like lambdas that you can chain together, right? So that's something that I see that you can use. Glue is very cool in a way that you can easily access external data sources with it. and files and bring it in. Same thing I think is also for Data Factory here. And you are going to find Data Factory and Glue back in the processing later as well, because it's overlapping a bit. Cloud Data Fusion or Data Prep for GCP. And then on the open source side, Airbyte NiFi, which NiFi is, I know it's very niche, but I personally like NiFi, so that's why I put this here. And Airbyte is for data integration, very, very big. And then you have the other tools like Fivetran, StreamSets, Informatica, Talent. Why is Airbyte here again? I think that needs to go here. Hevo Data and StreamSets. So these are the data integration tools. This will help you if you're on AWS. Okay, these are the tools I can use. If you want to combine this with something else, like you host an API, or you want the data, you're on AWS, you want to, that's the right thing. You are on AWS, you want to integrate data. You could also host Apache NiFi or use Airbyte for it and bring the data in. And so this way you can go step by step. First, you either an API or data integration, and then if you do streaming, you are going to put the data into a message queue. So you're going to stream it through. And this is where I put buffers. I call it very often buffer. It's also, you could also call this message queues. So the important ones here for AWS, Kinesis, Firehose, SQS, simple queue service. These are the important ones. The upside of, or the downside of SQS, I think it was SQS, is once the data is gone, or once you get the data out of that queue, it's gone, so you can't use it anymore. With Kinesis, multiple consumers can actually take the data and work with the data. But it's a downside, but also an upside of SQS. Then you have Event Hub for Azure, pops up for GCP. And if you go open source, Kafka, RabbitMQ, Redis pops up, the pops up part from Redis, which I personally like a lot. Redis is very interesting how they built this as a data store and as a pops up service. It's really, really interesting, really cool. Portable does niche APIs. Portable, never heard of that company. Okay. Hi, welcome, Kibula. So that's the data integration part. No, the message queue part. I'm not sure if there are any real message queues that are closed source or that you need to buy from a vendor. I think since, especially for data engineering, especially for processing large amounts of data, after Kafka came out, Kafka really made it open source. So there weren't really any other tools, are there? I don't know. Is there a real popular one? I don't think so. So you could go with Kafka here. If you're on AWS, most likely you're going to look into one of these, Kinesis, Firehose, SQS. Right. So you have the data in, you have it in a stream, or you bring it in and drop it into a file or something with the data integration tool. Then from there, you're going to go and you're going to do some processing. So the next step, right? Either APIs or data integration, either if you have a message queue, or if you have streaming data, you put it in a message queue. If not, you're most likely going to process it immediately. And that's where the processing here comes. I sorted this into processing, scheduling, and machine learning as well. As you know, I'm not the machine learning guy, so I'm a bit weak here. But processing, that's where you process the data. This is where we talked about Lambda. We could also add the step functions here again. Let's add step functions here. Step functions here again. Glue, then Elastic Container Service, EMR, Elastic MapReduce, EKS, the Kubernetes service. These things are here with the main processing things on AWS. So if once you have the data in a stream or in a static way, use the processing framework to process the data. For Azure, the ones I know are Azure Functions and Data Factory. I'm sure there's more as well, but like these are the popular ones that you should start with, right? And on GCP Cloud Functions, Dataflow, Dataproc, which is Dataproc, I think is Spark. Dataflow, I'm not sure. What was the difference between Dataflow and Cloud Functions? I'm not sure. So that, and then on the open source side, that was where I put in general Python, Spark, Flink, which is a competitor to Spark, Python again. What? Good that we're talking about this. Docker, Kubernetes, and also dbt for transformations. I think dbt can stay here in the open source part. By the way, if you have any comments, questions, put them in the chat. I'm going to answer every question. And I'm going to try to answer every question. Let's see how much time we have, because I'm already late here. And yeah, it's a bit problematic today. So that's the part here. And then with the first part of the processing, and then let's step it up a bit here. And then look at the vendors. So vendors, I put Databricks, although Databricks is cloud native, right? I put it here so because you're going to buy it from Databricks. So yeah, Alteryx, Exasol, Matillion, these are I think these are the right things here. Logstash, I think, should be added in processing. That's true. It's true. Logstash, that was AWS, right? I think that was AWS. No, Logstash is no. Wasn't this? Oh, am I dumb? Wasn't Logstash from Elasticsearch? Yeah, that's Elasticsearch. Elastic. So this should go here, then here. Most of the problem is solved if you use Databricks, like processing with Spark and streaming, Unity Catalog for governance, and data lineage, AI, ML, scheduling with workflow, file search with Tilda. Yeah, that's the thing. If you want to go with Databricks, then you can do that, right? But if you want to get the data in a stream, so then you need a message queue. You need to put a message queue in front of it. Yeah, data integration you could also do with Databricks here. Yeah, you're right. So Databricks is one of these tools that you can put a lot here. Also in storage, I put in here Databricks. Yeah. Yeah. So processing, scheduling is something you need always. EventBridge, CloudWatch, these are the big scheduling tools on AWS. Then on Azure, Logic Apps and Batch, I think is the ones. And on GCP, I don't know. On GCP, there's a numerous of tools here: Cloud Scheduler, Cloud Batch, Cloud Workflows, Cloud Composer. Actually, I don't know the differences between all these. These were the ones people suggested in the comments. So look into that. I think the AWS one is quite straightforward. So use either CloudWatch or EventBridge for it. Then this is also where you're going to find that's the open source part here. In the open source part where you find Airflow, Luigi, Daxter, and Perfect. These are the four people tell me all the time. I'm an Airflow guy, so just because I haven't used the other ones. So yeah, look into that. Luigi, Daxter, Perfect, and then Astronomer was the only that I counted as a vendor. So yeah, you can use Azure Data Factory like scheduling. Logic Apps is like Azure Functions, no code use. Yeah, exactly. The thing is, yeah, I don't want to. So if I put Data Factory here below, then I would make it a lot very complicated, right? Then Data Factory is here and here, and in data integration as well. So I think the main function is for processing, and then you can add the other functionality if you want. Azure Amazon managed workflows for Apache Airflow. Isn't that, yeah, but didn't they discontinue it and create something new for that? Yeah, I know that. Didn't they use something new for that? I think they switched or changed the name as well. So Daniel, maybe you know. Machine learning. I think machine learning very often is, I put here TensorFlow, PyTorch, Keras. Yes, there are more libraries than tools, but these are the things that are interesting that people can actually use often. I just joined. Can I share the link to the tools guide? So the link, this tools guide, you're going to, the old version you're going to find if you go to my website, learndataengineering.com here. Where is it? Here, learndataengineering.com. And then you scroll down here and I have free stuff. It's called Your Free Quick Start Guide right now. I'm going to rename this. And the old version is here. With that, what you're going to do is you're going to get forwarded, and you get it once you get on the, if you get on the mailing list. So if you do that today, I'm going to send you tomorrow the new version with the updated document. So this is how you're going to get this. The old version is this one here. I think that's currently in the document, and I added a lot more stuff here. So where was I? Machine learning. Yeah, SageMaker for AWS is the big one, I know. And Azure ML, Synapse Analytics. These are the ones I think for Azure. Cloud Data Lab, ML, AutoML, Vertex. No, AutoML, Vertex AI, and BigQuery ML are the ones here on GCP. As I said, TensorFlow, PyTorch, Keras, I put in here, although they're not tools, but these are things you need very often or look into very often. Then storage, I split into OLTP and file stores. So transactional OLAP for analytic stores. And I also added here data catalogs, so you can actually find something in your data lake once it's in there, right? And that's so OLTP file stores for AWS. Look at S3, RDS for relational database, DynamoDB for NoSQL, and TimeStream for expensive time series database. Then on Azure, the ones I know is Cosmos DB, Azure SQL DB, and Blob Storage. And on GCP, Cloud Storage, Cloud Spanner, Cloud SQL, Bigtable. So you can see the few categories that you have here. You have usually file stores, you have relational database types, you have NoSQL databases. So that's what you usually have here in the OLTP part. Then, yeah, as you see, also for open source here, this is for open source. This column here, the second to the right. So MySQL, MongoDB, Postgres, Elasticsearch, Redis again, Timescale DB. These are the ones that you're going to find a lot here. And then you have the ones from the vendors like Microsoft SQL Server or Oracle DB, SQL DB, these ones where you're paying good money for, right? Also, you can't do anything multi-cloud when you go with single cloud provider. What I liked about Databricks is you can connect many tools like Kafka, PubSub, Kinesis, and Stream easily. Is that actually the case? Can you access with AWS Glue, for instance, only S3 files? Could be. I actually don't know. So yeah, you have a point here, Chandan, I think. Well, you can also connect with Kafka, for instance. This stuff is, you don't need to use Kinesis. You can also set a Kafka in between, but it's a bit more work. I think you can't do anything multi-cloud is the wrong sentiment here. You're limited in multi-cloud. I mean, that's why they do it, right? They want to keep you in their ecosystem. They want to keep you on their cloud platform. So that's what they want. Oltp as well. So look into Redshift Spectrum, Athena, Azure Synapse, Data Explorer for Azure, BigQuery, Druid. I don't know if it makes sense to go over all of these here. But like these are typically where you find your data warehouses or some databases like Apache Druid, like InfluxDB, the time series database. This is where you're going to find, in my opinion, Presto, the query service. How's it? Is Presto called query service? How were they called? Query engine. Yeah, query engine. So you have some similarity. You can look here again. Athena is the one here that's very similar to Presto. On these, I'm not 100% sure. Well, BigQuery has Athena functionality basically built in, and this is how you can look into what's the alternative here. Snowflake, we have Databricks, we have here Oracle Data Warehouse, IBM DB2, SAP HANA, Rockset, where I did a video about Rockset some time ago. They're also here. And then you have stuff like data catalogs with Glue, Azure, Amundsen here, and Hive. So Hive, something very traditional, very old out of the Hadoop world, but still works. Yeah. And Atacama. Here I know Atacama from a friend. So yes, Glue can be enabled with Databricks, just simple config Spark Databricks. No, I meant that you can, with Glue, that you can process data out of Azure Blob Storage or Google Cloud. How is it called? Cloud storage. I'm not sure about that. I think in that case you're right. Yeah, then we had the visualization stuff, which I really like for Google. Data Studio is really awesome. It's a lot better than QuickSight. For Azure, I actually don't know. I saw only Power BI here. But there are also very a lot of open source stuff like Streamlit, Grafana for dashboards, Stream for website building, Kibana as a dashboard, Apache Superset, Metabase for everything for BI related stuff, or then Tableau, Qlik, Power BI as stuff from a vendor. Yeah. And then I put in a bonus category here, various categories, data observability with Kenzu and Anomalo, and data quality, create expectations, TIBCO, and CI/CD is also super important, like with Jenkins, GitLab, GitHub Actions. These things is stuff for data engineers. So I think that's a list that is quite good. It gives you an overview of the vertically of the platforms and which tools are in the platforms. Horizontally, it gives you an overview of the different categories, and you can jump from left to right and see what is an alternative here for these tools. Soda SQL for data quality. Never heard of it. Soda SQL. I'll just put it in here. Right here. I trust you, Daniel. Okay, so that's the thing here. That's what I wanted to show you. That's the version. I called this version 2 extended. I had that also a bit smaller, without that bonus here and without the data catalog that's missing here. But I think that's the one I like most. So I'm going to put that in. It's actually, I can show you this in Canva. Let me bring it up in Canva, how this document on my how this document actually looks. Here's the quick start guide. Whoa, what has happened here? So in the quick start guide as well, I show you here the platform blueprint, talk about the blueprint. I talk about typical pipelines that you're going to build. I talk about, there should be OLAP and Oltp. Yeah, OLAP and Oltp explained here. Then I had the tools guide. Oh, this is even an older version, I think. So this was the old tools guide. I'm going to replace this with a new one. And then I'm showing you here a few example pipelines that make sense to build, and that these are the ones I built in my academy and I teach to my students. And what I'm also going to I'm going to add in here the skills guide, because we have that in the on LinkedIn as well. You can see that on my LinkedIn here. View profile. Here, where is it? Version 2 skills matrix. Yeah, the skills matrix here. You can download this from here as well. Somehow. I don't know where. But I know this especially from mobile. I'm going to put this skills guide as well in there for you. Yeah. Data prep, aka trifecta, is also agnostic for connecting, cleaning. Oh, yeah. I have heard about that. So we're going to put this in here. Trifecta. Does this cost something? Or is this open source? Connecting, cleaning, pipeline data. I'm going to put it in here. Trifecta. So that's what's going to live here. As I said, I'm going to, now after this stream, that's why I didn't put it already in the document, because whenever I talk about stuff, I'm finding errors, or I'm getting new ideas, or your input. Thanks for your input. Yeah, so that's why I haven't uploaded it yet. So get on the mailing list. You're going to get that. You're going to get all the updates, and we're also going to send out a new new data engineering insider. We're right now preparing this. Most likely next week we're going to send that out as well, with a lot of information, mostly about Spark and Databricks, and yeah. So that's the goal here. Now we're already 34 minutes in. I feel like we're already at the end. Let me share something with you. So what I recommend that you do now is go on LinkedIn here. Where is it? Here. Go on LinkedIn and look at Kate Strachny's account. They are right now doing a the Modern Data Fest, a conference that Kate is a friend of mine, and she's doing. Oh, that's the wrong link here. Where's the agenda to it? Put this here. moderndatafest.com. So they have many people that are interesting talk here, like CEOs, and who do they have here? Mikiko. She's big into ML ops. Miko Yak. Ravid is going to talk. Kate is going to talk. And founder, CEO of Nexla, senior software engineers, director customer solutions. So that's look into that. I'm going to go over here as well. 74 people watching right now. I'm guessing this is not right. So yeah, you can have English or English subtitles. So check that out. I'm going to go over there as well and see what they're doing, right? So I'll be at, and hope you have a great day. Hope this was useful. Next time we're going to talk about some other things. This was more a show, less of a big Q&A stream. So next time we're going to do a lot more Q&A again. I just wanted to bring this out to you and hope this helps you. Yeah. Let me know if you like this. If you're on YouTube, give this a thumbs up and send me a comment if you have some other ideas what to add there. And yeah, have a good one. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I'm not sure if I can come by tomorrow, but let's see. All right. See you later.